Hi, it's me again. I'm going to start before I went to art school. I used to do zines, which are independent, self-published Xerox magazines sold through the internet or independent stores. Zines are part of the do-it-yourself movement, meaning you put your work out there without the buffer of a publisher or the filtering of a third party. It's a direct interaction between you and your audience. Psycho X was my most successful zine. This was in 2002. It's fiction. It's letters back and forth between people and nasty breakups. Before I went to art school, I was not part of the local creative community. I was creatively isolated, so being able to make something that was distributed widely allowed me to participate in the large, abstract network of zine makers. The culture of zines encourages a response from the reader. I got a lot of emails from people about my zines and enjoyed having back and forth about my work. I started Watkins in 2003. As I went through the program, I became increasingly aware that there was some independent art stuff happening in Nashville, a lot of it connected to people that I knew from school. The Fugitive was in its prime, and it seemed impossibly cool. A lot of our teachers were in the group, also Ivanka was in it. The Secret Show series was happening. You'd get a postcard in your mailbox, and you'd feel like you'd been invited to something underground. You'd go out to these industrial buildings with groups like this and see some really edgy stuff. There was this electric feeling that something is happening in this town. I was invited to join Off the Wall in the second show. So Off the Wall, it didn't exist in a vacuum, but it is unique and special. I also joined the board of the Secret Show series, and I ended up making a lot of work to keep up with these sudden new opportunities. I had known the members of Off the Wall from school, and we had the same artistic foundation, but the creative chemistry intensified once we started planning shows together. Scabies Get Around is a body of work that I showed at an early Off the Wall show. It's one of my favorites. The collectible is an idea that I'm very interested in. This project explores contagious parasites as sort of a collectible cereal box prize. So here I've built this illuminated vending machine where you can reach in and get your very own keepsake scabies. There they are. And they're shrinky dinks. I also use these as promotional items for the show. Interactivity is a big thing in my work. This piece is called Glory Hole Dressing Screen. There are some fun facts about scabies written on the back. And when you go behind the screen to look at it, you become part of the art. I also had some prints, which I hung at crotch level instead of at eye level. There's a lot of humor in my work, often dark humor. I want my work to be entertaining. Also, it's part of the process of me wanting to make it and enjoy making it. And this is a close-up of one of my prints from the show. A lot of the interactive techniques that I use in my work resemble science museum exhibits, and we'll come back to the idea as me as sort of a scientist in my more recent work. This here is a legitimately educational panel-style interactive display at a nature center. And this is my version. So you sniff each box and try to guess what dinosaur that you are smelling. Guessing correctly isn't the point. It's a pseudo-educational entry point into an imaginary world. Making the piece interactive encourages the viewer to actively look at the piece. There's the aha moment. It's a participatory experience. And I compare it when you're reading Lord of the Rings, you flip to the front cover and find the location that you're reading about on the fictitious map. Here is another smell piece. You can sit in, let's see, this is protective coating Aption. It's made of Pepto-Bismol and Ziploc bags. And this was done for a one-night show. And while over the course of the night, the Pepto-Bismol started sort of like distributed evenly throughout the bag and sort of cascaded down in this drippy sort of kinetic thing. So you sit inside the chamber and you're completely enveloped in the Pepto-Bismol. It is claustrophobically close to you. You can see the world outside the piece, but it feels really far away. Some people enjoyed sitting in the piece and some people found it disturbing. For this piece, I imagined that I was the artist in residence for Pepto-Bismol. And I had been asked to make a piece that really described the essence of the product. I like using materials that have intimate, open, or personal associations. I think the smell helped people engage. The piece is open-ended, and some people said it reminded them of their grandmother's house, or their stomach ulcer, or they just liked the bright color. This is a detail of the bags, and here's sort of how you can see through it, but it's kind of murky. This is gum people. This piece is a metaphor for self-destructive behavior. A person made of bubble gum reaches towards sand. Sand is the enemy of gum. Like mixing colors with your Play-Doh, once gum has sand in it, it is ruined forever and can never be separated out again. The gum arm hovers over the sand in a perilous frozen tension. I did this piece twice. In this one, there's a second figure, and the sand is sort of, it's dangerous. It can blow, at any moment and contaminate the other figure. So it's also about, having just being people that are self-destructive, affect the people around them. But then I did it again, and I wanted to use the containers that the bubble gum came in. So the sand is in the gum here, or the sand is in the buckets. And there's a detail. I had to chew about 1,000 pieces of gum. There, that's the gum. And it was important to me while I was making the piece. I didn't exactly know why, but I just sort of felt like I needed to, in order for the piece to have integrity, I needed to chew all of the gum myself. So I did.